people, welcome to my podcast Life Adventures Taught Me. In today's episode I will be talking about my third student exchange in Austria. This student exchange is the only exchange I did in winter-autumn semester, so comparing to other exchanges it was quite different. The city in Austria where I lived was Graz, and this exchange it was from October 2019 until February 2020, just before Corona. So it was the period of winter and autumn, and the photos I'm gonna attach to this video of this podcast are mostly gonna be with winter and autumn nature. I would say that Austria really stands out with the nature and how clean it is and how beautiful it is. So the university that gave me the scholarship was the University of Graz, and I was registered as a student of Karl Franzens Universität Graz. An interesting thing about University of Graz is that Nikola Tesla was studying over here. Nikola Tesla was a Serbian inventor, electrical engineer, mechanical engineer. That was part of his life, big part of his life living in the US, and he was born in Austrian Empire. Graz is the capital of Austrian federal state of Styria, in German Steiermark. Graz is the second largest city in Austria after Vienna. It is located on the southeast of Austria on the river Mura, and that's the river where I spent a lot of time training and running around, so beautiful memories from there. And Graz is known as a college and university city with 4 colleges and 4 universities. The most famous attraction in Graz, it would be Schlossberg. It's the castle on the hill, which basically it means Schloss, the castle, and Berg, the hill. Is the castle located on the hill near the center of the city. It's a little bit weird because all the city is in the flat area and only there is this little hill where is located this castle. When you climb there, the view from there is amazing, especially the sunsets. I will share one photo. There is also the Schloss Eggenberg, the castle. Mua Insel Graz is the island in the middle of the river Mur, where is located a restaurant, and there is also a place where you can watch in the summer outside a little cinema for watching movies. And Kunsthaus Graz is the art museum, and there is a couple of interesting cathedrals around the city. The student residency where I stayed, it was Neubaugasse residency. It's part of the university accommodation, and it was really equipped. If I compare it to other dormitories where I stayed during my studying, this one was the best equipped and the most modern. It really looked beautiful. And I just saw the pictures of the place and oh my god, I became so nostalgic. Actually, every time when I'm looking through some photos from the past, like a couple of years ago, every time I became nostalgic, and that's why I really like that I save all these memories with some photos or videos, because I can come back to those days, to those feelings, and I think it's a really nice thing that it's like kind of you jump into another dimension with your feelings and memories. And because also lately I was thinking it's nice to make photos, save these memories for yourself, which is why I do it in my first place. Firstly, for myself, I use Instagram as my gallery, all the memories I save over there. However, I've been reflecting on the impact of constantly revisiting the past. While, I don't do it, but I have noticed that a lot of people do it. While it's wonderful to have a collection of memories to look back on, spending too much time looking at old photos can keep you stuck in days gone by. It's easy to get lost in nostalgia, but it's important to balance with living in the present, continuously thinking about past experiences. It might prevent us from fully enjoying and appreciating the present moments that are unfolding. So life is happening now, and while memories are valuable, it's equally essential to stay engaged with the present and create new experiences. So that's something that I've noticed that a lot of us have been doing, for myself more in the past, but I feel like each one of us has nice memories in the past, and we really like to go back to this moment. Throwback, the hashtag TB. A lot of people go back to those moments and they say, oh, how it was beautiful, but actually a lot of people, they are not working on the current moment, on the present moments. They don't focus on them, and they don't focus on creating something that beautiful that they experienced in the past. It's, as I said, it's nice, don't get me wrong, it's nice to go back to the past and revisit the memories and refeel it and get back to that old imagine and just remember how it was. But as I noticed, a lot of people, they just often go back to old moments and rarely focus on creating the same beautiful moments in the present moment and or in the near future. When I compare studying, because in previous 2 episodes I spoke also about studying, comparing studying with other universities, so here I can do it too. Studying over here, to me, it seemed the best, comparing to Spain, Polish, Czech, Serbian and Austrian way of studying. I think in Austria they had the best, because I feel like there is much more freedom and there is much more practice. I would compare other universities. Here's the book, you can study all the material is over there and all the content, while in Austria it's different. We had a lot of practice classes, we had a lot of workshops, and through workshops we really learned a lot more than just reading and studying from the books. That's what a lot of professors around the Europe, in these countries where I live, they do. It just, they throw the book and they explain the content from the book in a too boring way. As I have experienced it in Austria, we had a lot of workshops. Through workshops we really learned a lot. It made us think more. You would understand better the point of that class, point of that course that was meant for you to understand. And that's something that a lot of universities around the world are missing. So more workshops, more practice classes where can students be more engaged and with each other. Those cases in these workshops, they will use more their head than more just reading the words from the book and learning them by heart. That's what happened with me in also many courses I was taking, many classes. Literally, there is no other way that you can learn and understand some things, because they are too complicated and they are the subjects that are more interesting, some of them are more boring, but they were the courses where I really needed to learn the words by heart. And like when you force yourself, you don't want to do it, but that's something that I need to force myself to learn in order to pass the exam. And I really hated those classes because there is no freedom at all. So yeah, one word that would describe these courses in Austria is there is a lot of freedom and you can use your own creativity, and through that workshop full of freedom and creativity with your other colleagues and professors, through that you engage more to the topic that you are talking about, and that is the best way to learn different content from courses and to understand them. And it is the most interesting way to study, because study it is supposed to be interesting. Learning new things, it is supposed to be interesting, and what I have experienced in different universities, different classes, is that it was not interesting at all. Okay, there is also a lack of interest of students, and that's what I have noticed, that many content studying, it's really boring. It depends, of course, also of your interests, what is boring and what is interesting to you. But the reason why you are studying something, the reason why you chose to study it, is because you have interests over there. And if it's boring, what interests you, then what is the point of studying? So I think the whole system of studying and way of learning in many universities should be changed. And the Austrian universities, especially University of Graz, where I was studying, they are perfect examples on how it is supposed to be. Also, when I compare it with other student exchanges, I would say that here we had the least parties and it was the least wild student exchange in that way of partying and hanging out. So it was the most silent student exchange, but I love it the same way as I already experienced that in the first two and the fourth exchange. In the third one I really liked it because I was more peaceful and I really relaxed a lot. I took a nice rest and it was student exchange in another direction. It was, when I compare it about schooling, it was the most interesting in these classes. For me, studying over there, these classes, I did even more courses than I was supposed to take because it was so interesting to me, and all the time in the classes I was like me, I wanna participate because it was really interesting, and that's not me in other universities most of the time because I didn't have so much interest. But here, the way they do classes, they do courses, it really took my attention. And it really made me feel like I want to participate every single class, and the more I participate, the better. So at the end, at this university, I passed 8 subjects, 8 courses, where in total in my whole year of master studies I had 9 subjects. So there was only 1 left after me finishing this student exchange. So I just want to point out how actually it was interesting to me to be in these classes, and it was not hard at all. I really enjoyed, and that's the way where I recognize, where I have realized like, oh my god, studying can be really interesting. Studying is not boring. It didn't feel like an obligation. It really felt like a thing I want to do and I feel happy doing. It didn't feel like obligation in other universities where you are like, oh shit, I need to study this and this for this and this and exam. But here I did it all with full motivation, and that's how studying it is supposed to be. My courses were in Spanish, German and English language. So I improved in each exchange. I improved my language skills. They were better and better. So here I had some courses in German, but I would like to get much better in my German because I have reached the level of B1, and me speaking for B1 I think more I'm A2 level, but this is something that I would really like to improve, and last few years I'm working on it, but many times I stop because I put too much obligations as always for myself, too many things to do, so I don't have that much time. But there is time always for everything. You just need to be better organized and to have more motivation. I would like to get back my motivation for studying German and getting improved over there and being able to speak between B1, B2 levels so I can have a normal conversation. I feel like I'm still not over there, and I feel like I'm close, but as the time passes I feel like I'm forgetting little by little. So I would love to refresh my memory over there and try to get over this hard level of the grammar where I stopped in B1 and B2 and really be able to have a normal conversation. The best thing for me, it was these extra courses that I was taking, extra classes. So these not obligatory courses, I took sports. So this is not within these 8 courses I mentioned, this is extra. So I took sports, I took the course of basketball, and I took the courses of dance. I took hip hop and Afro dance. And I remember it was every Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and I couldn't wait for many times for the weekend to finish just to have these classes. That's how much I enjoyed them. and in these classes I really felt it was me, it was what I wanted to do. I felt like I was going my direction, so that's the direction I still want to go and develop much more in the music and dances. I am working on it much more than before. So here, going to these dance classes and basketball course, there I really felt fully fulfilled, and I felt like it's the right thing that I'm doing and the right direction I'm going through. So this is the favorite thing from this exchange. And when I compare all the exchanges, all of them, somewhere was the best squad company, some exchange was the best studying, which is the case here, the best trips, the best parties. So each exchange was the best on its own way. Those experiences, I can compare some stuff, but all together each experience is really different, and I just don't want to present as all these exchanges everything is beautiful, everything is super easy. Some moments are not easy, but as you can see when I talk, only the good memories stay, and there is so many more good vibes than bad vibes. And in the video of this episode there will be attached some of the choreographies we did for these dance classes of hip-hop and Afro dance. One of the first thoughts when I think of Graz that comes to my mind is me on a bike. Here I was biking a lot, and people do bike a lot, which is really nice of promoting more healthy life. So I was biking a lot, and I remember also the early mornings going for classes on the bike while it was -8 and my fingers and hands freezing. Not the best thing to remember, but riding a bike in Graz during my student exchange was, I can say, an unforgettable experience. Even on coldest days, -8 degrees, -10, the fresh chilly air biting at my fingers and hands as I pedaled through the city, it really stayed in my mind. And these streets also somehow it added to the charm of it all, of this experience, going with the bike through parks also during autumn with yellow, orange, red, brownish leaves falling around me, or just making a wind of me passing with the bike. And there was something about the feeling, the cold wind against my face, and a constant reminder of the vibrant life I was living in the beautiful Austrian city. Like the different vibes, like, so that's what I was saying. This was the only autumn winter semester exchange, and it had completely different vibes, and there are the completely different things that I liked comparing to other student exchanges. The mentality of people when I compare it to other countries, I would say that in Austria the people are really polite and really educated, and they really care about other people's feelings, so they show a lot of respect to each other. But for example, at the university everything was beautiful, as I mentioned before. I noticed that people are really friendly at the university, but once you get out of the university, like nothing. They don't really hang out that much. As I noticed, they are not really social. For example, as it was in Spain, hanging out all the time, and in Poland we were hanging out a lot. So in Austria I didn't meet so many exchange people, because here I was the most of the time with Austrian and German people, so not too many exchange people. So I guess that's also the influence why I have this opinion about it. But I noticed outside the university people are like not so engaged with each other. They are really engaged at the university, really polite, but once you get out of the university you don't really get to see them that often. And I have noticed also, comparing to other student exchanges, that here after 8 p.m. there is nothing going on. It's really calm, so people go to sleep really early and get up really early, so there is not too much nightlife, where in other countries there is a lot more nightlife. So it is like a really calm fairy tale city. The trips I made in this exchange, I remember I went for the trip just near the Graz, just outside the Graz. There is a little village, I'm not sure if it's called Tal, but there is the lake Talsee. That's the village where Arnold Schwarzenegger lived, and there is Arnold Schwarzenegger Museum, and also Talersee is the lake over there, and also you can see photos there attached. It was autumn vibes. On the start of the exchange we went for the trip to southeast Austria, this Steiermark, land of Austria. We were visiting different vineyards and it was more like wine tourism. And the most memorable picture from this trip that stayed in my head are the landscapes with vineyard fields. Also I have visited Slovenia, Ljubljana, and also Paris, France. We visited Paris in December at the end of 2019 before Christmas, and during our trip to Paris we faced significant challenges due to a transportation strike. One of our friends even had their wallet, passport and other documents stolen. But despite these difficulties, Paris was stunningly beautiful. I feel like I didn't get to see as much as I wanted because of these strikes, and there is like, it was few days, like 3 days, 4 days visiting Paris. I feel like I would like to come back and I'm definitely planning to visit it again. And of course there's the capital of Vienna, capital of Austria, Vienna. Vienna is one of my favorite cities because the first international trip abroad in a foreign country I did, it was in Vienna in 2017 I think, with 2 of my friends. And I had one of the best days of my life over there. But the Vienna is the city that I have visited the most. I have been there more than, I think, 6-7 times. So definitely the foreign country and the city that I have visited the most often, it is Austria and Vienna, because it's not so far from me, and many times I took an airplane from there because I would find cheaper flights from Vienna to some other part of the world. And another city I have visited near the German border, it was Salzburg, the city of the composer of the classical music, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. So traveling through Austria to Salzburg, I got to see the first signs of Alps, little hills with a little bit of snow up there, and the landscapes over there were really astonishing. And the vibe of Salzburg has a truly unique vibe. City surroundings and natural beauty set it apart from other places. It's, I cannot say weird, but it's really different. And also the center of the city is really at the end of the city, next to the river, just under the hill. And also I did a few hikings around the mountains of Austria, not in Alps, but not so demanding mountains. So I went to Bärenschutzklamm. It's a steep, narrow path consisting of over 50 wooden ladders that leads among rocks, through forests and by wonderful waterfalls. The mountains, forests of Austria in autumn are breathtaking, with different colors of yellow, orange, red and brownish leaves, creating a vivid and charming landscapes. And wandering through these vibrant woods, you feel as you are on a mystical journey toward a hidden ancient castle that is hidden among the trees. So such a living fairy tale vibe. And with this living fairy tale vibe, I would like to finish today's episode. Thank you very much for the listening. I hope you enjoyed it and you get the vibe from my life living in Austria. What I can say that now, remembering this living fairy tale vibe, it really made me, it brought me back like hard desire for traveling, like mysterious traveling around the Europe, and that's something that I would like to do in the next years, hopefully with van, traveling with van. If not, I would really like to go around the Europe and have this again, these misty fairy tale vibes, and I would like to do the trips and to go to places not to know what is waiting for me there, because I like to have during the trip more curiosity how it's gonna be, because I feel like online we always find okay, visit this waterfalls, and you get the pictures, you get the videos, and you are, oh, it's really beautiful, let me go and visit it, and you already know what to expect. But I would like to do really little investigation about it, just the basics, to know how to get there, and then during the trip just to get surprised, not to know what's waiting for me over there. So thank you again for listening to this episode, and I hope you enjoyed hearing about my unforgettable student exchange in Austria. Until the next time, take care and keep exploring the world around you. Ciao ciao!